Hello everybody, welcome to this new video on day 2. A lot of stuff has happened since I last recorded, but I figured I'd go over it real quickly. This is going to be a very quick video showing basically what happened and talk about where I'm going to be going next. So what happened? Well, I added a couple more lights. If we take a look here, there is a new spotlight. It's currently mobile. I haven't decided if this is going to be mobile or stationary. The cool thing that it's doing is creating a nice rim light, and that is actually in the cover art itself. You can see here along the mountain we have some nice rim lights. And the problem with using a stationary light for this, and I've used this in the past, it's actually going to create less nice volumetric shading stuff. So all these God rays are really nice and high detail right now, even in the lower setting, and that's because this is casting only dynamic shadows. If I was to bake them in, it would be relying on the baked in shadow resolution, and it's never going to be quite as good as what this is doing right now. So later on I have to figure out if it's too expensive and if I have to cut it and just use it stationary, or if it's going to be okay, which I would prefer. What else happened? Oh, I added in another light. This one is like a very, very basic fill light. It's basically casting light here so that this is not entirely pitch black, because otherwise it'd be a little bit strange inside of VR. Your eyes would start kind of freaking out, and the OLED panels inside the headset don't like pure black either. You get a lot of streaking if you leave it in there. So we added in a little bit of fill light. Next thing was adding in, I can't remember. I sculpted in the rest of the mountains, or at least something else to see while you're standing here. Can't remember if that was in the last video or not. I don't think it was. So that's in there now. It feels like an actual space. Speaking of space, the stars are now on a dome. They are basically just two textures. It's actually the same texture, just being tiled at two different rates, so you can avoid some of the tiling effect. It looks pretty good, especially if you bump the emissive up and start animating them, which I might do a little later as kind of like a cool effect. I'll save that for later for now. Next thing I did was add in the text. This was just a straight pull off of the title, or the CD cover. Basically what I did is I rezzed it up first. I dialed in the contrast, did a selector wand, and then just kind of copy and pasted. I was having a hard time getting the actual colors from the CD case. The way the transparency works with this kind of fog volume is it doesn't like to play well with darker materials, so I boosted up the emissive and to a setting that actually kind of looks kind of nice. I like the glowing effect on it still, and it's more physically correct. Anyways, not my first choice, but I think it still looks pretty cool. And yeah, that's basically it. I did some animation stuff inside of Sequencer. If you haven't tried Sequencer yet, you really have to jump in. It's very, very cool and very extremely powerful tool. It allows you to animate audio tracks now. You can do fade tracks. You can do, I have lights here. You can animate characters, change material parameters. You can affect blueprints by adding in event tracks, and it's just really, really cool stuff. It's been in the works for a long time, and I'm glad it's finally out, because it was worth the wait. So anyways, what I did is I animated a few things on here. So the last thing I'll do, actually, you know what, before I show you, this will be like the final thing. Let's talk about what's going to be next. The only things that are missing right now from the album cover is the actual lightning coming from the device. That's going to be coming up next before I move on to anything else. I want to do something that's animated, and I want to make it kind of reactive to the environment as well, so maybe some lights. But I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. I know I want it to be kind of the centerpiece as far as the dynamics in the scene. So that is still to come. The next thing I want to do after that is I want to do the interactivity with the vocal commands. I got to make sure that I can build the engine correctly with that inside, that plugin inside. And I want to make that the main interactivity inside of this piece. I don't know if I'm going to have like physical buttons or anything to grab. What I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to build this project out later today. I'm going to take it to work and I'm going to chat with some of the guys at work to see what their advice is as far as like making this more interesting, because I'm really good at the visual stuff, but we have a huge team of creative people that always have interesting ideas for stuff like that. So I'm going to reach into that well and come up with something really interesting for the rest of the stuff. And yeah, it's basically the visuals are mostly done. I still got to do the phone and the voice recorder. Or not the voice recorder, the messaging machine. And after that, it's basically all blueprint work. And yeah, in performance stuff, I need to make sure that this is running on min spec at a good resolution. It currently is, but I just got to make sure it stays that way. And maybe possibly see if I could target this for the performance of something like PSVR. We did a lot of that for Kismet. It's very tricky to do PSVR because, one, you want to do 90 hertz rather than 60, so you need to step up. And you have a lot less power to do it. Less resolution on the headset, but whatever. I would like to target that because that is a good thing for me to try and do frequently because, yeah, PSVR is popular. It's really cool. So that's about it. Let me go ahead and play this out. And, I should mention, the effects in here are just things that I've been playing around with. I don't intend on keeping them all. It's just kind of like an example of what is possible inside of Sequencer. I was just basically messing around. There are some cool effects that use actual volume of incoming audio, and I'm going to be using that. But anyways, this is just kind of a short sneak peek at some of the effects that I have in mind. Let's check it out.
After the tone.
Hello. This is your computer wife. Mainly for a new operating system. Goodbye.
My computer wife likes the nightlife every night tonight. Dancing out on the dance floor.
All right, so that's basically the gist of it. Sorry to cut that off early. I know it's hard to do actually. Yeah, so that's where it is right now. There's a lot of weird things going on with the shadowing on that piece, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far, and I'm looking forward to what the future holds for this piece and how it would feel as a whole when you hand it off to somebody that's maybe a fan of VR, maybe there's someone that's never done VR, and yeah, especially with the characters in there, it'd be really cool to do a little bit of animation on that too. But more to come in the future, and I will keep doing this recording thing. If you're watching this and you want to let me know that you're watching it, give it like a like or something, or maybe like comment and say something that you like about it, or something you think can use improvement. I'm always open to advice like that. So yeah, let's get chatting, and I will see you in the next video.